Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
And here we go. Friday, September 23rd, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, live at the Big Boy on Rochester Road in the great city of Rochester, Michigan. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, my friend. Good Friday to you, man. We've made it to the end of the weekend, which I think is a very good week. Always fun to be in Rochester, actually going golfing with some friends of mine later. Great area, great time, but just happy to be here on Friday. Good energy in the air, if you know what I mean.
You are capitalizing on being in Rochester.
You're damn right.
Lunch, Big Boy,
Yeah.
golf.
100%, man. It's a beautiful area. A lot of great golf out here. The season's almost at an end. It's getting darker faster nowadays. It's getting a little colder outside.
Good.
So it's going to be windy late at night, man. So, you got to get your rounds in while you can. And while we're out here in Rochester, definitely makes sense to hit a course. Hitting Great Oaks, by the way.
That voice you heard, the great Tom Mazawey, along with us as well. Maz.
What up, boys?
I have
What's
to
up,
tell
Maz?
you, one of the greatest tweets Woodward Sports Twitter account has ever put out. I'm just going to go ahead and read it for you right now. It says, let me pull it up here momentarily. Oh, darn it. Of course, this is not working right now, but here we go. Are you ready?
I am.
It says, I just want somebody to look at me the way Tom Mazawey looks at buffets. Greatest tweet in the history of Woodward Sports.
Buffets rock.
Twitter page.
Buffets rock, especially here at Big Boy.
Big boy.
Big boy.
It just makes you feel good walking into the place.
I love it.
Let me tell you.
They treat us like kings over here, too. They really do.
Absolutely. They got the salad bar here on Rochester Road.
That's my backdrop, of course. I don't sit at the fancy desk. I sit in front of the buffet.
Right. Stick says that was strategic.
Yes.
I already got down a Slim Jim today, Bray, and a salad. I do love the cabbage soup. I did not have time to get the cabbage soup, but I will attack that at some point during the commercial break.
I kept it light. I was actually trying to go through, I finished some notes that I had prepared for today's show and thoughts that were coming to my mind. Like one, obviously, I guess you could say a dedication that we'll get to shortly. But I had half a Slim Jim, I had a couple fries, and I had a salad. So I kept it on the light side today.
There you go.
Don't forget the pretzel bites.
Well, you ate them all. You ate most of them.
Big show for you today, guys. We're going to have Ron Johnson coming up in hour number 2 of the program. I do want to start with this, and it's a little bit of a dedication. It's not a little bit of one. It is a huge dedication, and that is, Braylon, to your former head coach at the University of Michigan. Lloyd Carr has his name. The official dedication will be next month at a game in October. But Lloyd Carr will have his name now. It will be named the Lloyd Carr Tunnel, where the Michigan football players walk out onto the stadium, and then it's just the glorious feeling of walking into the Michigan Stadium field. Lloyd Carr Tunnel at Michigan Stadium, October 18th, 15th. Thank you so much for that, Fletch.
The Penn State game, I actually will be at that game. I will be at the dedication ceremony. It's an amazing honor for Coach Carr, speaking on his behalf, as an individual that played for Coach Carr, guy that loves Coach Carr. You hear the stories all the time. I tell you about Lloyd, what he means to me. I think it's only fitting that the tunnel was named after him, someone that paved the way. I mean, you talk about Bo all you want to. Bo never won a national championship, but Lloyd Carr did. And he did win a national championship when people didn't want him here. They said that he wasn't the guy. The guy was Gary Mueller, and obviously Gary Mueller had to resign. But with that being said, it makes sense that you walk down that tunnel, you walk onto the field, and you got Lloyd Carr leading you down that field. It's the Lloyd Carr Tunnel, man. He is a leader of men. He is a leader of young men, and now it's only befitting that for the rest of the time at the Big House, Lloyd Carr will always lead teams down that tunnel onto the field. Man, I'm getting emotional talking about it. So happy for Lloyd Carr and his family, Tammy and Jason.
One of the greatest human beings you'll ever meet in your life. When Lloyd Carr called me Ryan and started talking to me, I knew I had made it in this business.
Yeah.
And Tom, I know you feel the same way.
My first call when I was hosting at WJR in the evening, one of my first calls ever being a host was Lloyd in a car. So I take the call, and it was Lloyd Carr. It was And he didn't say it was Lloyd Carr. He said, "Oh, Lloyd tooling around in a car." And I was talking about this Reggie McKenzie dinner that they just had that night. And he comes on, "Well, Maz," and he starts talking to me, and he was the call. And then at the end, I'm like, "That's Coach Carr." After the show was over, I got on the phone and I called his wife, Lori, at the time, and I said, "Hey, tell Coach Carr he got me." And she was laughing, and he was, what a gentleman, man. And like you said, when he says your name, I don't know, it makes you feel special.
No,
I love the guy.
Without
I absolutely
question.
love him.
Definitely makes you feel special. The funny thing about it is, though, back when Coach was calling me when I was in college, when you see that 734-764-0000, that 1,000 number, I'm like, oh, man. Like, when Coach was calling back then, it's like, shoot, what did I do? I'm in trouble, but I got to hear
You didn't just put out his number, did you?
No.
I'm kidding.
I'm about to say, come on, right? That's the number at Schembecker.
Yeah.
That's like that random number for every number at Schembecker. That was it. But he would call and he'd pick up, and I'm like, what did I do now? And I got to hear Coach talk to me. But now, in the last 12 years or so, whenever Lloyd talks to me, I just get excited. I just get chimed because I know it's going to be a great conversation. And I don't want to get into that, but it's just always great to hear his voice. Now, when I'm doing good things, I can hear his voice and hear that good side. But early on, I didn't want Lloyd to call.
Yeah.
When I heard Lloyd's voice earlier, it was usually telling me something I did wrong. So
It is funny because we talk so much about college athletes today and back then, and coaches making players into men. Braylon, it might be fair to say, and you could probably share more about this, obviously, than I could, but, I mean, there is no telling if the transfer portal was around when you played, you might have left. And to stay at Michigan and to persevere and to grow under Lloyd Carr and the football program that he led at the university helped shape you for the rest of your life. Is that fair to say? Is that a fair assessment?
It's definitely a fair assessment. I mean, you look at it, you have to take your hats off to college coaches or coaches, and especially college coaches and high school coaches. It's because they're shaper of men. They shape the minds of men. They help them on their journey. They help turn them from boys that come to colleges. They turn them to men, or they turn them into young men. So that's definitely what happened for me. I was a guy that didn't play a lot my freshman year, and there was some resentment there towards me. I felt as though, I was treated a little harshly compared to other players that were from out of town, and I thought because I was a guy down the street, he knew I can take it. So, it was a tough first year, and my dad wanted me to kind of go through that myself. Like Stan, he had to go through his things with Bo Schembeckler, so my dad didn't want to come in and play, Captain Save him and let me save my son. No, you're a grown man. You'll figure out how to navigate through it. And, I was able to stay. I leaned on my mom, and even my mom, she helped me through it, but she says, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a quitter? Do you talked about going to Michigan your whole life. All you ever talked about, Maz, is playing in Michigan and being like Desmond Howard and being like Charles Woodson and being the next number one, being like AC, the original number one, and the always forever be number one. Or do you just want to go to Marshall, and do you just want to give up on that dream? I support you either way. And she put it in such a way, I said, boy, Mom's in that reverse psychology.
Yep.
Just because, obviously I fought through it, and the rest is history. But Lloyd Carr took me on that journey, man. He never gave me too much that I couldn't handle. Even his comments to the public, he knew that I could handle it. He knew that I had a good will and a good determination, and he helped shape the very man you see before you today. So for that, I will always be grateful to Lloyd Carr and his family. Love you, man.
I can't speak to playing for the University of Michigan football team. That's a different level. But what I can speak to is being at the University of Michigan when Lloyd Carr and the Michigan Wolverines won a national championship. And I can tell you that Lloyd Carr represents Michigan to me. I'm 43 years old. When I think of Michigan, I think of Lloyd Carr. My dad and other people might think of, obviously probably the first guy they think of is Bo. To me, to my age group, to the people that I went to school with, there was no bigger ovation in that stadium than when Lloyd Carr's name was announced by Howard King. And when his name gets announced by Howard King on October 15th against Penn State in honor of the Lloyd Carr Tunnel, that building will be as loud as you have ever heard it, because what he did for Michigan at a time when he was about to get canned,
Yeah.
is only bring our only national championship to Ann Arbor in, 50-some years.
And the only real national championship, if you want to be honest. When you look at it from that lens, Ryan Ermanni, people are synonymous with championship. People are synonymous with success. Like, that's what gets people going. It's like the Jay-Z song. It's provocative. It keeps the juices flowing. Like, it's one of those things when you see Lloyd in the big house, when you hear Lloyd's name over the loudspeakers, over the PA system, all you can think about is greatness. Like, when you think of Lloyd, instantly you start thinking about Charles Woodson. You start thinking about the catch against Michigan State. You start thinking about Shimunga Biaka-Batuka in the 313-yard game against Ohio State. You think
I was there as a fan, by the way.
I was too.
Yeah.
That's my guy. That's my brother. Yeah. You think of the national championship game where before the season, nobody had them ranked to win the Big Ten. Nobody had them in the top 5, if you want to be honest, that season. But what did he do? He wins that national championship. And Fletch, I appreciate you for this. This is me and Lloyd. This is my senior year after the Iowa game, kind of one of the last times that I would take the field for the big house, man. And, it's one of those pictures. See Soup over there talking stuff. But when you hear Lloyd's name over that loudspeaker, it instantly takes you to a place of nostalgia for greatness, nostalgia for champions, whether it's Mike Hart saying little brother, where at that time they were. And Mike Hart, he never lost to Ohio State. So it takes you back to nostalgia for greatness, success, and ultimately 97, the national championship, where we got screwed, by the way.
Never lost to Michigan State, because I know that somebody's going to say something about the Ohio State, because you Freudian slip. You said Mike Hart never lost to Ohio State.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
Michigan State.
And just seeing that picture of you and Coach Carr, I mean, the guy just exudes, to me, class. Yeah. Too. I mean, just doing it the right way. And we certainly love Coach Carr and everything that he's done for the University of Michigan and everything that he's done for so many people around the game of college football. He is a college football Hall of Famer as well, worth pointing out. Guys, we'll talk Michigan, Maryland. Big noon kickoff is going to be there. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft, they have the call for tomorrow's game. Michigan State at 3:30 on the Big Ten Network. We'll get into some college football, but I do want to talk about the Detroit Lions. What do they have to do to win the game? You'll hear from the defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn. The movement in the line, is that an indication, potentially, of the way this one will go? We'll get to that next, but first a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It is no secret that new cars, come to Lady Jane's, not Les Stanford just yet. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience. It's your last month to register to win the car of your dreams from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Several locations throughout the Metro Detroit area, several more around the country. No appointment necessary. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
OddsTrader.com is the number one site for your game day bets, play-by-play updates, live scores, and the best price from multiple sports books. Simply put, OddsTrader.com is the best. Depending on the parlays you want to make, they have them. Depending on the games you want to bet on, they have them. All your parlays, all your leagues, MLB, NHL, NFL, NBA, it doesn't matter. All the players. Who's going to win MVP? Guess what? It's going to be Aaron Judge. But guess what? Go to OddsTrader.com and bet that AL MVP. Simply put, OddsTrader does it best.
Man, you got to get ready to hone up when your number's called. When you're in a one-on-one situation, you have to win. Man, that's what this game is all about. You hear offense talk about it all the time. It's a matchup league. Well, for defense, it's a matchup league too.
Defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. Before I get to the Lions, just want to say I thought it was gone last night. I stayed up. It's a 4-4 game. Yankees and Red Sox. Bottom of the eighth. I'm sitting there like, okay, batter number 8 is up. There's 2 outs. Don't hit a home run. Don't do anything because I want to see Judge.
Right.
So it's 4-4 going to the ninth, and then I'm like, okay, Judge is going to get an at-bat in the ninth regardless now. And that freaking camera.
The cameraman screwed us.
It totally.
He did it.
I literally sat up in my bed because I'm laying half asleep. I sit up in my bed, and my goodness, Aaron Judge misses 62 by about that much, man.
Oh, man, I wanted him to get it so bad because you could tell it's like a weight on his shoulders now. And those little wussy Red Sox pitched around him. Three at-bats last night. What a bunch of... Now you know why I despise them?
Get them out.
Despise them.
Get them out.
Pitch to them.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
Pick your last place and pitch to them.
At the end of the day, it's the Red Sox. It's the Red Sox. It's not like you're talking about the Pirates. You're not talking about the Dodgers, the Tigers, any other team in baseball. It's the freaking Bo Sox. You know damn well they are not going to be the team to give them that history.
Yeah, they don't want to do it.
Nah, they can't be.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen regardless, though, because it's only for so long that you can run from
I
greatness.
still say, man, go out there and pitch to them. Try to get them out at least. Either way, we can talk about that a little bit later on in the show. I do want to get to the Lions. Interesting, guys, because the first place Detroit Lions go on the road for the first time and play the first
place Lions.
Hey, man, all you can do is look at the schedule. The first place Minnesota Vikings, all four teams in the NFC North tied for first or last.
No, Lions are first because they have the most points.
Oh,
but technically, the Vikings are the only team to have the Green Bay Packers are the only team to actually have a divisional win.
So maybe they're in first.
So they would be in first place.
Either way, guys, this line opened at 7.5. It is bet down to 6. So the Lions getting some action from Vegas, whether that means anything to you or not. But defensively, we saw a little bit of the blueprint. Philadelphia put on the Minnesota Vikings last week, got to Kirk Cousins. Darius Slay really shut down Justin Jefferson. I'm not even sure how else to say it. He shut him down in man coverage. So there was a blueprint a week ago on how to stop Minnesota's offense, and Aaron Glenn has that task this week.
The big thing you got to pay attention to with the Minnesota Vikings is they haven't used their best weapon over the past 4 years. It's been Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook has got them going on the offensive side of things, running the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield. Then makes it easier for Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs years ago. Now it's Adam Thielen and it's Justin Jefferson. So they've made it easier. If you look at game one when they had that success, when everybody said, oh, my God, it is the Vikings. Braylon Edwards is right. It's the Vikings by a long shot. Well, they ran the ball with Dalvin Cook. He had 90 yards and he averaged 6.2 yards a catch. And then you open it up for Justin Jefferson to fit inside those zones and have 186 yards. When you don't run the ball with Dalvin Cook, when you don't run the ball with Mathis, now you just depend on the pass. And Philly did an excellent job of disguising some of their coverages. Now, for the most part, that was just Darius Slay on Justin Jefferson. That was mano a mano. Yeah. But they did disguise some coverages. So going into the Detroit Lions, Aaron Glenn, you got to pay attention to that. Disguise some coverages here or there. They're not going to run the ball against you guys. So lock your guys on them, man to man, little to man, a little bit of extra action. But I'm telling you, you guys can go at these guys. Aiden Hutchinson on one side, Charles Harris on the other side. That Minnesota Vikings offensive line hasn't looked strong. Get to Kirk Cousins because you know what he'll do, Maz. He'll give you the ball.
No doubt about it, man. And like you said, the first game, they were chasing Jalen Hurts. And we all both said it. Next game, they're chasing Carson Wentz, and they're going to get to him, and they did. They even had a safety in that game. I'm looking for the same thing from this defense. They're starting to get a little healthy. Jeff Okudah is going to have his work cut out for him because Justin Jefferson is going to be one angry hombre. Adam Thielen is always a pain in the neck for the Lions, so we got to watch them. And Dalvin Cook has not had a breakout game yet. Yeah, he had 90 yards the first week, but against Green Bay, and then they kind of took their pedal off the metal in that game. So he could have been over 100 yards in that game. But he's dangerous. Kirk Cousins, it's a 1 o'clock game. Look out.
Yeah, you know what? I wrote something down. I wrote some notes down as I was kind of watching some film from last game, as I was watching press conferences from this week. And the one thing that I wrote down is right here in my notes is don't be the team that the Vikings figure it out on. Right now, the Vikings are questioning themselves. Kirk Cousins is back in that place where, damn, do I deserve the money I'm getting? Am I the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings? Is Kevin O'Connell, a new head coach, because he didn't bring me in, is he going to get rid of me if I'm Kevin O'Connell? Do I have to get Dalvin Cook more involved? What do I do with the offense? That was a poor showing by us. Right now, the Minnesota Vikings are in self-doubt and questioning themselves. Don't be the team that gets them back on track. Don't be the team that says, you know what? We're going to let Kirk Cousins throw for 380, and now Kirk Cousins remembers, oh, you know what? I do deserve the money I get. Justin Jefferson hit the gritty 9 times on you guys. That's not what you want. You got to start early and often. I would get after Kirk Cousins. I would get after that quarterback. And then on the offensive side, I would be aggressive. I wouldn't just try to run the ball with DeAndre Swift, run on first down like we know the Detroit Lions are going to do. You got to get after them, silence that crowd early. Keep the Minnesota Vikings as a staff, as a players in question and self-doubt.
You know, DeAndre Swift is a concern. He was back to practice today, hobbled by most accounts from the Lions beat writers and reporters who were there. He only had 7 touches last week, 5 carries, 2 receptions out of the backfield. The touchdown where he fell down, obviously one of the plays in the game, but DeAndre Swift has to touch the ball more than 7 times if the Lions are going to be around in this one. I do think there is concern there, and I'm not sure if this is something that hinders him all season or what. I don't want to see him take a break. I don't want to see him take a week or 2 off. But if he needs to do that in order to get right, then he might have to do that. You just might have to do it in order to get healthy for the rest of the season, because the way this is going, he can't touch the ball 7 times and expect to win the game. You just can't do it.
I agree with you, but you don't take that break during the Minnesota Vikings week. Minnesota Vikings is a team you got to play, you got to beat. Ryan Ermanni, you said they're going to win 10 games. 10 games, maybe even 9. Gets an NFC team into a wild card. You can't afford to take this game off against Minnesota because they are still a damn good offense trying to figure things out on defense. It's at Minnesota, which means you got to go into the belly of the beast. Now, I will tell you this. If DeAndre Swift can make it through this week, they have the Seahawks next week. Then you give DeAndre Swift his break. Let him take that week off. Jamal Williams is more than capable. And obviously, Craig Reynolds is still on the team as well.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson is on the practice squad as well. So I think you get DeAndre Swift through this week. Next week, you're playing against the Seahawks. They have more than capable running backs. And you still have one of the best offensive line through 2 weeks in the Detroit Lions.
Here's the downside. Again, and this is what we've been talking about. Can this guy stay on the field?
Yep.
He's already proven to us that he is a dynamic back. There's no question about it. You know what? He was challenged in the preseason by Deuce Staley. He answered the bell. The guy is a ball player. He's a dynamic guy. Ryan, would you have 3 players, 4 running backs ahead of him maybe?
I don't think there's 4, but
right.
You might be able to name 4, but you can't name 5 that I'd rather have.
He's got to stay on the field. He's not a China doll. I remember we used to call everyone a China doll if you get hurt. Yeah, remember that? He's not that. He's a big man. He's a monster. He worked out like a son of a gun. I'm surprised he doesn't hang out with Amon-Ra St. Brown or his dad. That's how he's built. But there's something up, man. He's got to stay healthy. They cannot win without him at 100%.
Yeah, you said name 5 yesterday that were better than DeAndre Swift, and I can name you 4, and that's it. I can name you the guy that doesn't get enough credit, who we saw last night, who was a stud. Every time you turn on the tape, is Nick Chubb. He's definitely number 2. Then look at the guy on the opposite side of the ball. I did say Najee Harris, and you guys say, I don't know about Najee. Najee's always on the field. That's what it comes down to in terms of me taking Najee Harris over DeAndre Swift. Najee's always on the field, and he can catch out the backfield as well. The other 2 are no-brainers. It's Derrick Henry and that's Jonathan Taylor. But outside of that, there's nobody else I'd rather have than DeAndre Swift. You just hope that he can stay on the field, stay healthy. But, Ryan, that's a good suggestion on my half and your half. I just give you a little credit for that. I'll take a little bit as well.
Absolutely.
Next week, they get through this week.
I didn't think about that.
Next week, they're playing the Seattle Seahawks. And I don't want to take anything away from an NFL team, especially coached by Pete Carroll. You never know what you'll get. You saw week 1 against the Broncos, who aren't necessarily that good of a team. But that would be the perfect game to get DeAndre Swift like a full. And then the 2 games after that, you come into your bye week in week 5. So that could be some good rest for him next week and then the bye week.
Craig Reynolds is not a stiff, but he's not DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
But he could play, and he can get you 100 yards. But he's not going to be dynamic out of the backfield.
But the good thing about him, is you don't need a dynamo out of the backfield. Like, yes, it helps that DeAndre Swift is that dynamo. And when he's on, when he's full go, the Detroit Lions are a different offense.
Hell yeah.
But the best thing about the Detroit Lions offense we talked about is that offensive line. They protect Jared Goff. They block for the running back, whoever's going to be in there. So if you're missing DeAndre Swift for 1 week, but you still have Ragnar, you still have Decker, you still have Penei Sewell on their side, doesn't matter who they want to plug in, whether it's Don Skipper or whoever, They play well. They stay up front. They get in the trenches. So now you got, you know what? You know whose time it is? Hey, DJ Chark, where you at? Hey, TJ Hawkinson, where you at?
Yeah.
Jamal Williams, all that emotion
Hawkins
that you
got to
gave.
step up.
Hawks got to step up. Now it's time for those guys to step up. Spell DeAndre Swift against the Seattle Seahawks. But let's focus on the Minnesota Vikings first.
I want to focus on a potential matchup we could see in this one as well. I want to do that next, but first a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, sir. 27 locations, and there's 2 of them right on Woodward, right by our beautiful studios at Lady Jane headquarters in Birmingham. So if you want to get on down there, join the Pepper Club. They're going to save you $5 on unlimited tanning. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D. You get to meet the Pepper girls, and you get the best deals. That's right. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters at, you know the place, chilipepperstanning.com.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
But that's the biggest thing. When Bugs is on point, he's as good as there is in the league. And we're very fortunate that that's where he's at right now, and we continue to see him there. So we're really, really excited with how he's playing. He does a lot of good things inside.
Lions defensive line coach Todd Wash talking about Isaiah Buggs, right? I mean,
he calls him an all-pro. He's calling him an all-pro.
Who are these guys? I mean, you needed some defensive line help, and then all of a sudden, Buggs steps in and has played pretty well through 2 games. Got to get some pressure against Kirk Cousins because it is going to be a challenge for the back end of the Lions defense to corral and keep down Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen for a second straight game. Look, Minnesota scored 7 points last week. Yeah. I think they're probably going to score more than 7 this week against the Lions.
They are.
But here's the question I wanted to talk to you about, Bray. Amani Oruwariye is
back.
Most likely going to come back. How easy or how difficult is it? Because you obviously want to put Jeff Okudah in a good spot. Yeah. You obviously don't want to put Amani Oruwariye in a bad spot coming back from injury. What is the decision there on who to put on who? And conversely, as a wide receiver, I mean, is an offensive coordinator looking for matchups? I mean, when the New York Jets play the New England Patriots, are they sticking Braylon Edwards on the left side against cornerback 1? Or I know I can get Braylon Edwards over on the right side. That gives me an advantage if we put him over there. How does that work in the NFL and potentially what Aaron Glenn is deciding upon for Sunday?
Doesn't matter who you put on Braylon Edwards, just let you know that Braylon Edwards is getting open. Braylon Edwards is getting open. Now I'm already talking in the third person. It does. You know, you got a guy that's just coming back from injury. Even though Amani Oruwariye was your best defensive back in the last couple of years, he's just coming back off injury. Now we believe him to be hurt, but it's not necessarily about him being injured. It's about him coming back and getting into rhythm. It's about him, it's something about game tape. I told you, it's different when you're practicing. It's different when you're going through the motions than actually being on the field. So getting into that game shape, getting into the rhythm of the season and the game. I keep Jeff Okudah on Justin Jefferson. Yeah. I match him up in man-to-man coverage. Obviously, when you're switching side, when it's 2-man or when it's 4-zone, it's quarters, you don't need to match him like that. But when it's man-to-man, when you decide to go 1 high safety, I'm matching Jeff Okudah and Justin Jefferson. I don't want to put Amani Oruwariye in that position. And it's not about his skill, because I've always been high on him, even when he was at Penn State. It's not about his skill. It's about him getting into the flow of the season. It takes some time to get in that flow. And this is game 3 for everybody else on the Minnesota Vikings team. This is only game 1 for Ermanni.
No doubt about it. And again, Maz, we talk so much about, we're going to learn a lot about the Lions, and I think Lomas and Braylon, two guys that have played the game, right? I mean, they look for that first quarter of games, that first 4 games to see what a team is really made of. But I do think we are going to learn something about the Detroit Lions as they go on the road for the first time this season and play a team that many people believe is going to be the division winners in the NFC North.
Hey, it's a division game. It's always going to be tough. These 2 teams, they go at it. Yeah, the Vikings own the Lions on the, of course, the all-time series. Everyone does.
2-1.
2-1. I mean, they've always owned them. But the Lions play them hard. And last year they could have swept both games against the Purple Gang. So I'm looking forward to another game like last year, going down to the wire and let the best team win it. And I think it could be the Lions. I like the way that spread is going down.
5.5 now, some people are pointing out on the FanDuel account.
Vegas knows. I'm telling you, just play well, play tough. That's all we could ask of you. If you get in the playoffs, it's icing on the cake.
Yeah, the big thing that with Big Loam, and I say when I say Big Loam, I'm talking about Lomas out there for you guys, is in football traditionally you want to see through 4 quarters. You know what I'm saying? Where you are. You can assess teams through quarters. Obviously, first 4 games, that's a quarter, et cetera, et cetera. Now they're at 17 games, so it's a little different. But you're going to find out a lot. You already know a lot about the Detroit Lions. Like, even through 2 games, you know that they're a team that can score points. You know that they're a team that has a physical offensive line. You know that their linebacker play has been pretty good thus far. You know that DeAndre Swift is a genuine article. You know that Jeff Okudah is back, is ready to take over in that role. So you know some things. But it doesn't take 4 games necessarily. That's just usually the benchmark. You don't want to get too excited too early, but you know a lot already. The Vikings game is a benchmark type game. The Vikings game on the road against a team that many have to win the division. A lot of people have to go far into the NFC playoffs. Like, getting that team on the road after they just lost to a Philly team that you looked a lot better, you can tell a lot about the Detroit Lions after this game is over. How did they handle Justin Jefferson? How did they handle and corral Kirk Cousins? What did the defense side of the ball do for the Detroit Lions? Did the linebacking play continue? And on the offensive side, is Jared Goff looking better from week 2 to week 3? Is DeAndre Swift going to be good? The wide receivers, was there a DJ Chark sighting? TJ Hawkinson, is he stepping up? You're talking about a guy that made the Pro Bowl 2 years ago. So you can tell a lot after this Vikings game. I pretty much think you're going to know who the Detroit Lions are after this game.
Watch out for Irv Smith Jr., too. They started to use him last week. The tight end always got the Lions in the past.
You put him in my fantasy team.
I picked him up for Braylon.
Thank you, GM.
He didn't start him, though. He started Freiermuth last night. Disappointing, but that's okay.
You're the GM. You were supposed to tell me, hey, coach.
My bad.
We both dropped the ball.
Watch out for Irv.
I do want to make this point, and I'll agree with you, Bray, and I got to disagree with you, Maz. I'm tired of them playing tough. I'm tired of them just hanging in there. That's all we can ask for. If you want to be a different version of the Detroit Lions, go to Minneapolis and win this game.
Yeah.
Nobody expects Detroit to win because I think really we are all stuck in the same old way of thinking when it comes to this football team. Yeah, they'll beat Seattle at home probably, but they'll go on the road and lose to Minnesota because Minnesota is a good football team and the Lions don't beat good football teams on the road. If you want to do something different here in Detroit, if you want to prove to the fan base, to yourselves, to the organization, that things really are different here in Detroit in 2022, go beat the Vikings.
You use a perfect word in that in your eloquent sentence about being different. You want to do something different, then go ahead and do it. You use expect. You use we don't expect the Detroit Lions to win this game. No one expects the Detroit Lions win this game. They hope that they win this game. Yes. You got to change that mindset. You got to start expecting to win games like this. If you ultimately want to be a different team, if you want to actually say we're no longer the SOL, the same old Lions, we have a new identity, we have a new culture here administered by Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, then you got to expect to win these games. The reason why we expect to win against the Minnesota Vikings is because they're a fraudulent team. We know we can get to Kirk Cousins. We know we can corral them and confuse them a little bit. We know that defense has struggled in the secondary for the last 3 years. That's why Zimmer's tenure is now over, partly because of that defense and mostly because of the secondary in that defense defense. If you want to start expecting to win, then those are the kind of conversations that you got to have with yourself as well to us in the media and analysts.
I mean, how many people, Maz, when you get that schedule at the beginning of the year, you look week 3 at Minnesota, I guarantee you 90% of Lions fans said a loss.
I have them splitting. I did have them losing at Minnesota, but winning at home.
There you go.
I do.
That's the point, right?
I have them splitting almost every year in the division, 3-3.
Right.
That's what I got.
At Minnesota, loss. Buffalo, loss.
Yeah.
At Green Bay,
loss.
But at Dallas, loss. At New England, loss. I mean, go win 3 of those games.
Why not?
You know.
But that's when you expect. That's when you hope, and that's when you're excited to see can they change that culture. Because when you see teams, if I'm like, let's say we're a good football team. Let's say for the purpose of this drill, the Detroit Lions are, i.e., I don't know, let's say the Rams. Let's say that the Rams right now for this purpose of this exercise. If the Rams are looking at Green Bay, they're like, man, Aaron Rodgers can't seem to find his wide receivers. I don't know who's playing wide receiver. The running game for Green Bay hasn't really got going yet. We expect to beat them. The Minnesota Vikings, I saw what they did week 1, but I saw what they did in week 2, and I believe that's the truer Minnesota Vikings. They won't run the ball with Dalvin Cook. Kirk Cousins will give you the ball if you put pressure in his face, if you get him to play a game where he has to beat you with the pass. The defense isn't there. I expect to win that game too. That's how you change the narrative. That's how positive teams that are good, that's how they look at those situations. The Lions are still finding themselves, but they got to find themselves fast.
Bray, they played the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly on a Monday night. I think you throw that game, not throw it out, but I think they're between game 1 and game 2, somewhere in the middle. I don't think you saw the real Vikings last week. I truly don't. I just think the Eagles are better.
I understand that, but if you're going to tell me that this team has a chance to go to the NFC Championship, if you're going to tell me that this is one of the best teams in the NFC top 3, then I don't want to hear excuses about going on the road early in the season. You got a quarterback that you're paying $40 million to. You got the best receiver in football. Dalvin Cook was the best full total running back in the game 3 years ago. Adam Thielen was the best assistant wide receiver in the game 3 years ago. You're telling me you got Zadarius Smith from Green Bay to go alongside of Danielle Hunter? Like, you're telling me that? I don't want to hear any excuses about that was Philly in Philly. If you're that good of a ball club, then you go to Philly and you beat Philly. Or you go to Philly and you look decent. You don't go to Philly and drop a turd. They didn't score a point in the second half.
Thursday night football last night, Browns and Steelers, just one of the items we will get to in the NFL. But first, a message from Cintron.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. And now, for a limited time, they have combined all 3 of their flavors. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The classic, the sugar-free, and the cranberry into a limited edition 6-pack. Go to CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. Look, Cintron wants to energize you. They want to energize the community. They are here for the moments they are trying to take over. You see what the Red Wings are doing. You see what the Tigers are doing with Scott Harris. You see what the Pistons are doing with Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey. Well, guess what? They're trying to do that with Wolves Sports too, so let them energize you as well. Drink it, live it. What's Cintron?
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey, it's Scott from the Bet Show. It's Friday. Huge weekend of football in front of us. Can't wait to break it all down for you at 4:30 over at the Woodward Bets YouTube page. You know what? You also got to go over to that app store and download oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, the best place to check all the odds for the sports books right in the palm of your hand. But hey, let's get back to those fun coupons. Let's stay hot. Listen, we're rolling with Eastern this weekend. Buffalo, one of the worst defensive teams in all of college football. Eastern rolls. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
The Monroe Street Midway open till September 25th. If you still got some time to get on down to experience Detroit with some roller skating, mini golf, art, live music, and some food trucks, a whole lot more. A fun, safe environment for everyone from 1 to 100. Get on down to deckedoutdetroit.com for more info. We'll see you at the Midway.
We are live from the Big Boy on Rochester Road in the great city of Rochester, Michigan. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Shout out to everybody here at Big Boy. They treat us so well here. We cannot thank them enough and for their help joining us, partnering with Woodward Sports Network. Big Boy, awesome place. The salad bar, Maz's backdrop. Stick put out a Woodward Sports tweet today with Maz and the salad bar. You'll want to go check that out. Just a fantastic place. And there's one in your neighborhood. Go to Big Boy and get yourself a Slim Jim while you're
Yeah, no, it's a fabulous place, fabulous partnership that we have with Big Boys. Like every time you come, they make you feel welcome, no matter which location it is, whether it was Brighton, whether it's here, whether it's down in Taylor, they make you feel welcome. It's a great partnership. They're excited to see us coming, and to be honest, we're excited to know that we're going to be coming there as well. So always excited to be here, and I definitely had a Slim Jim, and I'm waiting on that strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, no, it's so great to be here, and all the great food. I got to get a hot fudge sundae before I leave.
I'd have a chocolate shake. I'd have a chocolate shake, but I don't want
strawberry shake over here, buddy.
I don't want Stick shooting a video of me drinking a chocolate shake during the show. I don't need that.
Stick was the TD last
I don't need
time
that.
around. He kept going back. We got Fletch and Flannel here today. Sam Flannel, great to see you as well back with us today. I do want to go around the NFL, Maz, if we could.
Love
this
to.
is your time. Let's hit it.
It's my league, man. Last night, Thursday Night Football from Cleveland, the Browns, they did it. They were favored by 3.5. I gave the points, and I bet the over. It hit. At the end of the game, it did, but it hit. Thursday Night Football, Browns over the Steelers, 29-17. Nick Chubb, you heard Braylon, 113 yards and a score. Amari Cooper, another big night for him. He had a touchdown, 101 yards. What'd you think of that game, boys?
The thing I think about this is maybe we were wrong in overlooking the Cleveland Browns and their schedule. Looking at it from this point of view, Jacoby Brissett is in a very unique situation. You got a stud wide receiver in Amari Cooper, and if you didn't know that Amari Cooper was still elite, I think in the last 2 weeks he's reminded you that he's still elite. 2 games, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns for Amari Cooper. Man, he's playing some ball. Njoku in the red zone, that's what you want to see out of your tight ends. Same thing you saw last week with Mike Gesicki and Tua in the red zone. Same thing you saw with Jacoby Brissett and David Njoku, and then Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, the best running back duo in the NBA in the NFL for the past 3 years. They are thunder and lightning. It's one of those situations. Usually when you're subbing a elite caliber running back, Ryan Ermanni, when you're bringing his backup in, it's a fall off to a certain extent. It's like the elite back is here, then it's a fall off. You may not get the type of yard, but when you're subbing Nick Chubb to give him a spell, and you're bringing in Kareem Hunt, not a huge drop-off at all. And, oh, by the way, Kareem Hunt can catch the ball out the backfield with the best running backs in the NFL. So you're talking about a situation, if you look at their schedule, in 8 weeks, when Deshaun Watson, he who not shall not be named, comes back, Cleveland Browns should be in a situation to be in the playoff hunt, if not in the league in their division, because you can't tell me that AFC North is closed by any means. Obviously, Baltimore be the number 1 team in that division. Maybe, but Cincinnati, bums.
I want to go to the other side of that game, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Isn't it time for Mike Tomlin to go to Kenny Pickett? I mean,
already?
That offense through 3 games now is horrific.
Here's my question. Let me ask you. You're a GM, okay? You're a GM, you're an owner, GM owner, you're a front office guy. And I come to you as Mike Tomlin, and I tell you, I say, hey, we're thinking about putting Kenny Pickett in. And your first response, Ryan Ermanni, as a GM, as a president, as an owner is, with that offensive line that you got blocking for Mitchell Trubisky right now, I understand that Kenny Pickett's a better quarterback probably than Mitchell Trubisky is right now. Kenny Pickett will probably change the game for the Steelers a little bit, but he can't block for himself. And that Steelers line is just as bad as the Cincinnati Bengals line. So I don't want to put a new quarterback and a brand new young guy and get him crushed. We saw that with David Carr, and David Carr never ever responded well.
It's funny you say that, because I was just going to say, what about Joe Burrow? Because that Cincinnati Bengals line is as bad as any in the league.
Very true, but that Cincinnati Bengals line was that bad last year. They put him in, but Joe Burrow's the starter. He came in the starter. You knew what the scenario was. We drafted you number 1 overall. Number 1 versus in 28. Different things. When you get drafted number 1 overall, you're the starter. You're coming in to be the guy from day one. There's not any training wheels. There's not any you're going to sit behind Joe Flacco and we'll figure it out. No, it's not that. It's you're going to be the guy. And he was the guy. Towards ACL, he came back and still was the guy. Kenny Pickett, he's already backing up Mitchell Trubisky. You already see that the situation is uniquely horrible. I'm not putting that guy in there.
Fair enough. Here's where I give the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin a lot of leeway. Very reminiscent of the Detroit Red Wings run for me when you are so good for so long and you go through 5, 10, 15 years of having the number 20 pick and higher. You're not having a lot of elite players, elite talent early in drafts. The Red Wings making the Stanley Cup playoffs for 25 years in a row. They never had an early round draft pick, an early first round draft pick. The Steelers haven't had. What's their was Ben Roethlisberger their last pick in the under 12?
Yes. So this is the pushback that I will give, not you, but the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Ben Roethlisberger has been on the major decline. He had been on the major decline for 5 years. 5, 4, 3. You knew it was coming, but not to spare his feelings. But to spare his feelings. To not have a situation like Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. To not have a situation like Brett Favre when drafting Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. You guys stayed away from quarterbacks. You stayed away from decent quarterbacks that you could pick up in free agency. You stayed away from drafting quarterbacks potentially in the second or third round that you could develop. So now you got a quarterback that's not developed. You know he has the potential to be good, but he wasn't no first 5 picks. He wasn't pick 1. He wasn't pick 2. He was pick 23.
Yeah. I think you could say that about the Detroit Lions with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, exactly. Same situation.
You could say these organizations, they fall in love with their guys and they can't get rid of them.
And don't want to hurt their feelings.
Exactly, no doubt.
Let's stick with that game last night. Did you see George Pickens' one-hand catch on the sidelines? OBJ saw it. Check out how he was gushing over George Pickens, who is the real deal, by the way.
Yeah, put the grid graphic up if you have it there, Fletch, so the audience can see both catches side by side. Here it is. And by the way,
every wide receiver's dream.
I actually made this graph, and I was so impressed with myself. And then
did you make that?
I did make that. It's not very hard. Just go to Photo Grid. I was very excited, but then I went online and everybody had made the same graph, so it made me feel a type of way. Everybody's been asking all day, what's the better catch? Everybody said, what's the better catch? Who has it? I will tell you this from a wide receiver point. Everybody has their own opinion. Just as a wide receiver, as my friend Dan from Tryon's in the building, who played wide receiver at Michigan State, Odell's catch was harder, and to me, it's not close from a wide receiver standpoint. If you look at what
do you know?
What do I know, right? I just play wide receiver, right, in the NFL. So for Odell Beckham's catch, he was backpedaling while the ball was coming straight. So he's in a backpedal motion. So when the ball goes over his head, he's at an awkward position for his body. He has to arc his hand all the way back and catches the ball with these 3 fingers, like he was throwing a curveball. At least I think those are the ones you throw it with. With George Pickens, his situation was slightly different. Still phenomenal catch. I'm taking nothing away from him. That catch was phenomenal. It deserves to be mentioned. It's going to be the best catch this year, and it's going to be the best in maybe the last 5 years or so. But with his catch, he was able to extend horizontally, which is lateral. He was able to extend laterally and be able to catch the football as you're taught to catch the football, in the palm, in the back with all 5, and was able to bring it into the tuck. So it's still an amazing catch. It's phenomenal. But what Odell Beckham did, I'm going to go out on a limb and say will never be done again. It definitely hasn't been done before he did it or since he's done it. That catch was phenomenal. It was everything and more. But George Pickens, you are on your way.
You know what else was similar there?
What's that?
Both night games.
Yeah.
Al Michaels did to call them both of them.
That's right. It, Maz, too. OBJ was the first, so
correct.
He gets it. And I hate comparing because to prop one up, you got to knock the other one down. Not you, but most of us.
But you don't have to knock them down. You can just say, you know what? It was a different level of a degree of difficulty. Excuse me. It was a different degree of difficulty. And that's not knocking George Pickens. Odell's catch had a harder level. It's just like being in the Olympics and watching somebody do the field exercise or field routine in gymnastics. Her start value was higher than her start value. That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean hers is necessarily better. Her start value was higher. Odell's start value was higher, and he hit it with perfect tens.
We are going to come right back with a fill-in-the-blank Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get back into the NFL.
You cut me off.
I did cut you off. We'll get back to you, Maz.
All right.
We'll get back to the NFL topics, absolutely. But I do want to stay on point with our weekly segment that we do each and every Friday at this time. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday. What are the questions today? Can't wait for that. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of the house? It tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you stays safe. Call that number right now above my head, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports Center. We'll be right back. Fill in the blank Friday.
Hey, it's Sean Jordan from the Sports Marketing Agency. And SMA wouldn't be who we are without our amazing partners.
Thank you so much, Sean. You know, at Detroit Wayne, we want to serve as a resource for you and your families. We offer mental health services, substance use disorder services throughout our communities, and we want to be that source and resource within the community.
If you or a loved one are suffering from a mental health or substance abuse issue, please don't hesitate to call 1-800-241-4949.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, everybody, we are live at Big Boy on Rochester Road in Rochester, Michigan. We're going to be here to 4 o'clock today, so if you're watching live, come on down and see us. We've been here all morning from 8 to 4. They got the great signs outside for us. If you got to get down here, the salad bar is still open. They're restocking it. Come on down, Rochester Road and M59. Come try the new loaded fries, the new burgers, and more. We just ordered some shakes. They're great as well. We will see you right here at Big Boy in Rochester.
Big Boy. Ron Johnson coming up, co-host of Vikings Game Day Gophers pregame. He'll join us coming up at the top of hour number 2. We could not connect yesterday, some technical difficulties, so we'll try to get him.
Sound like the Steelers and Deontay Washington.
That is right. But ladies and gentlemen, as we do each and every Friday at this time, it's a segment we affectionately call Fill in the Blank Friday. Fill in the Blank Friday.
That was really good of us, huh?
Like that?
Who else thinks of things like that?
Well, I mean, I can't imagine anybody.
No.
To be honest with you.
Impossible.
We're very original.
We are
here
very
at Woodward
original.
Sports Network.
Don't forget Top 10 Thursdays as well.
Nobody's original. We just do it better.
That's it. All right, let me start you off.
I don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy.
100%.
Ryan Ermanni, you're going to lead this one off. Blank will lead the Lions in total yards this Sunday against Minnesota.
Fool me once, shame on
you.
You can't get fooled again. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to have a big game against the Vikings defense. And if Swift is hurt, look, he has absolutely developed into Jared Goff's go-to wide receiver. 8 catches or more in 8 straight games. Unheard of. NFL record. Tied an NFL record. Amon-Ra will say, I'll go over $150 this week against Minnesota.
Yeah, the one thing about it is, you want to say Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it looked good last week, but him and doing those motions, his doing those jet sweeps, him doing those reverses, those things like that, those don't work week to week. And from the wide receiver position, you won't be able to run the ball like that. Anytime defenses see you in a certain split, when they see you in a certain alignment, they're going to be aware and know those things are coming. So they're going to be keying in on it. I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift. There's nothing like being a player and know that you're going to get the following week or game off. There's nothing like knowing, I guarantee you with DeAndre Swift, he wants to play, but they want him for the rest of the season. They want him for this playoff run that Ryan Ermanni has spoken to existence that seems like it's on the precipice of happening. So you want a healthy DeAndre Swift. When you know you're not playing, when you know you're about to get a week off, you go all out, balls to the wall. So I imagine DeAndre Swift to have somewhere along the lines of 120 yards rushing and have 50 out the backfield. So look for him to be around that 160 to 175 total yards.
I'm going to go with the quarterback. Jared Goff is going to throw.
Well, that doesn't count.
Okay, fine. Be that way.
You always look. What do you mean be that way?
I'll take DJ Chark, who was just celebrated his birthday yesterday.
That's a good one.
He's going to have his breakout game because I was going to say that Jared Goff's going to have a great game here, a breakout game. I know he threw for 4 scores last week, but he's going to throw for more yards this week. All right, the Lions' record will be blank at the bye week.
2-3, but a solid 2-3. A solid 2-3. I believe they lose this week to the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, hey, I'm gonna pick them until I believe in them fully. Like, I believe in them. I like the direction they're going in, but real talk, I still got to see more. So I like them to be very close against Minnesota. I like Minnesota to maybe even have to go down and score a game-winning touchdown at the end. Like, this ain't me saying that Minnesota's going to destroy the Lions at all, but I think they're going to win that game. I think in Gillette, I still got to have to go with the Patriots and then also the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas, whether it's Cooper.
Well, that's after.
Okay,
after,
so it is.
That's after.
It's Minnesota, then to Seattle,
and then at New England break at.
So 2-3.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm taking 2-3.
You ready for this?
I can't wait to hear 4-1.
4-1.
4-1.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
I think this Vikings game is a 50-50 game. I think Seattle is a win.
Yeah.
And I think the Patriots are a 50-50 game.
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
I just want to ask you a question. Now, I don't have a problem with that at all because they all have chinks in their armor. They all look like they can be beaten. And who better than a team that is second in the league in scoring right now in the Detroit Lions? So I give you that. What has to happen for the Detroit Lions to win these games? Like, what do you need to see improve from the Detroit Lions to be 4-1? Because playing like they're playing right now, they're not going to win 2 more games. What do they have to improve on?
Well, they have to improve. They have to get off the field on third down.
I like that.
That's one of them. They have to get off the field on third down. In the second half last week, it was just too many conversions. I will say this. I am steadfast when it comes to the quarterback position. I think, Jared, you can disagree with me all you want. I think Jared Goff's a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. So for me, I give the edge to Detroit. I think Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Geno Smith. So I give the edge to Detroit. And I think Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Mac Jones. So I give the edge to Detroit. That is 8 times out of 10 in the National Football League, whoever the best quarterback on the field is in any particular Sunday in an individual game, 8 times out of 10, that team wins the football game. And I just think Jared Goff will be the best quarterback on the field for the next 3 games for the Detroit Lions to win.
All right, I'm going with 3 wins and 2 losses. I know I'm different, but that's what I had. 3 wins. I'm sticking with.
You got them losing to the Vikings and then losing.
I got them beating the Vikings.
Oh, but losing to the Patriots.
Seattle and losing to the Patriots.
Okay,
that's what I got.
Gotcha.
Close, by the way. All right, the Pistons will blank the playoffs this year.
Miss.
We'll be the 7th seed in the play-in. I think this Bojan Bogdanovic situation,
another steal,
is incredible. I think you just were able to improve your starting rotation and your bench. Now you can bring Marvin Bagley off the bench instead of having him in your starting lineup. You've got Alec Burks coming off the bench.
Yeah.
The second 5 is pretty darn good. There isn't a hole there. The 10 members of the Detroit Pistons, there doesn't seem like a lot of holes there. I mean, I could be crazy, but I'm going to say compete for a play-in situation.
Okay.
Thank you, because I was like, with the exception of Michigan State and the Red Wings, you got the Tigers going to the playoffs, you got the Lions going to the playoffs, you got Michigan winning the national championship. You got the Red Wings. Well, it's not positive. It's just like everybody's going to win. Everybody's going to do it. Listen,
that's because he's lovable.
I know they do love you out here, but you know what? I'll be that guy. For the Detroit Pistons, I like this situation there, and I call him Fleece Weaver. Fleece Weaver has done it again. He got Bojan Bogdanovic, and I really appreciate having him on the team. You want to see who's that experienced guy, who's that veteran guy that the young guys can learn from, who is that veteran guy that can give them in-game experience. You saw Dwayne Casey take those guys last year to the playoffs. They were at the Eastern Conference Finals so that they can see how it feels, what that atmosphere is like. And I think they are doing things in the right direction, but they still got a ways to go. We don't know what Jaden Ivey is going to be on both ends of the court as it relates to teaming up with Cade Cunningham. Jalen Doran is a project. He's not a guy that's coming in and ready to play and lead and all those type of things right now. Still got to find out what Killian Hayes is going to do. Is this a guy that you still believe in? Is he a guy that this is his last year and then you're going to let him go? There are a lot of questions on that side. Well, no, excuse me. There are a lot of questions with the NBA team known as the Detroit Pistons, but it was a damn good pickup for them. I love the pickup. I think they will miss the playoffs, but I think they will be a lot better than they were last year, and I could even see them winning 38 games.
There you go. 38, they're in the play-in.
Not in the East.
You
better look at it. You forgot how good the East was last year.
Let's see what 38 wins would have got you
I
last year.
think 38 is high. I think they win 30, 32 maybe.
Well, I had 32.
Yeah.
I meant 30.
All right, let's see what the play-in situation was. Maz, continue.
I'm a 34 guy.
I got the Pistons missing the playoffs, but improving. All right, how about the Red Wings? The Red Wings will blank the playoffs this year.
Thank you.
Hey, clown, fill in the blank. Red Wings, go ahead.
I was like, you might want to take a look at that East again.
43 was 43 got you in the play-in. Hi, Kathy Mazawey. The Red Wings. I think the Red Wings will be in the playoffs this year.
Maz outkicked his coverage. Maz could have won those tickets for outkicking his coverage.
Thanks, Bray.
Red Wings in the playoffs.
That's the number one ball buster right there, Kathy Maz.
Oh, yeah, I have heard stories. Yeah, I agree with you. Red Wings in the playoffs. Last year, started off hot last year. Moritz Seider was coming out the gate, Dylan Larkin as well, and Lucas Raymond. I was thinking about Michigan State, right? Lucas Raymond came out the gate high last year, cooled off a little bit, and then after the All-Star break, they really cooled off. They couldn't stop anybody as it related to goaltending, but they went on and got a goaltending coach, so I'm excited.
And last but not least, Ron Johnson on the horn here. Aaron Judge will finish with how many blank home runs?
65.
66.
64.
64. There you go.
There we go. We've covered the gambit.
We are going to take a break. Come right back. We've got Ron Johnson on the phone. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Gypsy Vodka.
The summer is over, but guess what? The Mulligan is still here. Introducing the Mulligan from Gypsy Vodka, 8% alcohol seltzer, and I do mean 8%, so be careful with it. Take your time, but it is smooth. The 3 flavors they have, and I love them, iced tea, mango, and lemonade. They are so good. Check this out. Support Michigan distillers, in-state guys, Adam and Mike, Michigan State guys. They're out of Petoskey, Michigan. Support. Stop outsourcing. Stay here, man. This is what we do. Stay here. Gypsy Vodka. If you're going to drink, remember at all times to be and drink responsibly.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Academy, Warren. Everybody join me. Are you interested in expanding your career and making a difference in your community? Well, Academy of Warren, for professionals that have a passion for working with students in the K-8 department and more, is the place for you. For more information on how to apply, call them at 586-552-8010 or visit academyofwarren.net.
We are live from Big Boy. We cannot thank them enough, being a big sponsor here, Woodward Sports Network. We have traveled to Big Boy seemingly every month, and the way we are treated when we come to each and every facility is second to none. So we want to thank Big Boy for their support of Woodward Sports Network.
Yeah, man, a lot of support and a lot of love. Speaking of love, want to give a lot of love to this next guy that we have coming on the show for you. This is my big brother, the Ron Johnson Show host, as well as co-host of the Vikings Game Day Live and the Gopher pregame show, football analyst with Fox 9 Minnesota, KFAN 1003. And oh, by the way, a 2022 Class M Club Hall of Fame. That is University of Minnesota. My big brother, Ron Johnson Jr. What's up, big bro?
What's going on, man?
Get that long intro, man. I'm tired. That intro's long. Appreciate you coming back on yesterday. I know there were some technical difficulties, but appreciate you for hanging there, man. What's going on your end, brother?
I'm good, man. Glad y'all figured it out. Like I was trying to tell him, like, man, like it ain't me. It's not my internet. Like it works. Like,
Yeah.
so, no, we got to figure it out, though, man.
www.
Ron, did you forget the www?
There you go.
There's no more wwws. The World Wide Web is it's the internet.
There you go. The interweb.
That's how old you are when you think you need that. It's
I think Ron's was a little more advanced than ours. Advanced. Let's get into it, brother. Go ahead.
Ron, let me get right to the game. You know, so many people, specifically here, we're like battered Lions fans, man. I mean, you look at the schedule when it comes out. You see Week 3 at
He's
Minnesota.
born and raised. He knows.
Yeah, you know this, Ron. And it's just automatic loss at Vikings. How do you guys see this one? And do you see a different Lions team? Because I think many of us do.
Yeah, I don't think you know, when you look at the Vikings Lions, you never know. Like last year, they lost on a last-second play because Cam Dantzler was in red 2 and backed up into the end zone. Braylon knows that if it's red 2, if you're in quarters and your foot's on the goal line, you don't need to back up. And he backed up about 3 yards into the end zone. No idea why. Nobody was threatening him vertical, but he backed up. Mike Zimmer didn't throw him under the bus. He just kind of said, hey, we got to play better coverage. But, I mean, it's quarters in the red zone. There's no reason you put your heels on the goal line, and then once a receiver enters your area, then you go with them. But he backed up super early. I think just a young guy, rookie, just got a little nervous, and, it all she was. They threw a pass, and then now it's the video heard around the world because Jared Goff's girlfriend was doing a swimsuit shoot, and she's jumping around celebrating his first win as a Lion.
Shut up.
Hey, Ron. Hey, man, you sound a little bit hurt over there, man. I'm not talking about last year. I'm talking about this year.
Yeah,
when
Ron.
you watch the Detroit Lions this year so far after 2 games, Hard Knocks, and all the other stuff that they're talking about, what do you, as an analyst for the Vikings, what do you see when you look at the Detroit Lions this particular year? And I do agree with you about the coverage, by the way.
Yeah, I see a blue collar team. Like they are embodying what Detroit is about. Blue collar workers, Cadillac, Ford, all the dealers there. It's just what that town is about. Being on the front lines, being tough, getting through everything. And and when you see Dan Campbell embrace it and starting to get the players to play that way, the whole kneecap joke, I think hopefully that's behind them now. But you definitely understand. And they put up 38 or 35 points on the Eagles. So the fact that they put 35 points up on the Eagles and the Vikings only put 7, you have to say, hey, this offense is better than the Vikings right now. Like they have a better handle on the running game. They have a better purpose. Kevin O'Connell has to get it figured out. So when you watch these Lions, it's not like your old school, like not old school because Barry Sanders, they were good. But it's not that Lions team that you think is going to roll over and die. Like this is a team that's going to play you to the end. And they're 1-1, so the Vikings have to respect them.
Talking about Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, he was a quarterback when I was with the New York Jets, so I know Kevin well. Ron, talk about the change from Week 1, where you guys go out and you have your way in Week 1, and then you come in Week 2, and you lose to the Philadelphia Eagles, and it doesn't look good. You don't score a point in the second half. Actually, you don't score a point, I believe, in the second, third, or fourth quarter. What happened? What do you think is going on? And I know that's a two questions at once. What happened Week 1 to Week 2 is one. And question 2, where's Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, so Week 1, Dalvin Cook got a silent 90 yards.
Yeah.
Like it was very quiet. Week
12
2,
for 90.
Yeah, when you look at the Eagles front, when you understand the eye and where they're putting and shading the guys, this old school was a zone run scheme. Now it's kind of just they're taking the gaps, and the Eagles had every gap sealed. I mean, there's video of Ed Ingram at guard trying to push Jordan Davis across the pack, and it just doesn't work. Like you can't move a guy that big. And so I think what the Vikings are going to have to do is figure out ways to let Dalvin Cook be Dalvin Cook, which let him pick. Run the zone, let them block, and let him pick the hole that he wants, whether it's front side or back side, if he's going to take the cut back. So that's the Dalvin Cook. I just think the Vikings don't have an answer right now for what they truly want to be with the run game. You don't see C.J. Ham, the fullback, playing much, which is another concern. You have a fullback on your roster, but if you're not going to use them, what's the purpose? You might as well have another tight end or another receiver in there that's active that week. If you're not going to, special teams, but you might get the same production out of a linebacker. He is one of your captains. So, again, that's another weird weird situation when you switch coaches and schemes. From a week 1 to week 2, this is what I say. Week 1, it looked like Kevin O'Connell was extremely prepared. It was like a kid that stayed up. You remember, Braylon, first day of school, you stay up late. You pack all your clothes for school the next day. You lay them out. You got your new Air Force Ones or your Jordans. You got your jeans. You got your polo. You ready to go. You got your Tommy Hilfiger jacket. You got your backpack. Everything's laid out.
Not my mom, but I know what you're talking about.
And so Kevin O'Connell was that kid on week 1. Like, he felt like a kid that backpack, ready to go. Week 2, it felt like, man, I'm the senior. I'm confident. I'm cool. Man, let me just own a white tee and I'm going to school in whatever. Like, I'm gonna wear flip-flops on the first day because I'm the guy now. Like, I'm the man. And I think that's what happened. Like, he didn't prepare for week 2. It felt a little bit like he didn't actively shift in motion pre-snap. You didn't see, like, week 1, it was a ton of shifts and motions and letting Kirk Cousins figure out the coverage. Kirk Cousins couldn't figure out the coverage because he didn't have all that shift in motion stuff. And so, like, the interception to Avonte Maddox, shout out to Martin Luther King High School, Avonte Maddox.
Yes, sir.
He was able to read Kirk Cousins on the out route. And so, or corner route, what he should have done, Adam Thielen, the ball should have been in the air before Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
And he threw it. Well, Avonte Maddox sat on the body that's ever played football knows there's a hitch in front of me in the flat. There's got to be a corner or something behind me if he's just sitting here. He's trying to hold me. And so Avonte Maddox did a veteran move. He sat with the hitch, but he kind of started backing up. Soon as Kirk Cousins cocked, he backed up and intercepted it. So I think that's the second answer to it. The week 2, they just weren't as prepared as they were week 1.
No, I appreciate that insight. And you said something that actually is very important to Lions fans. Pay attention to that. Jordan Davis didn't play that much against us. In fact, I believe Jordan Davis only took 3 snaps when they played against the Detroit Lions. So very valid point that you bring up about how Jordan Davis couldn't be blocked by the Minnesota Vikings, Maz.
Hey, Ron, I wanted to ask you about, we went through this the other day. I want to get your opinion. Who would you rather have at quarterback for your team, Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins. This is what I say about Kirk. Jared Goff is really good. He's gotten the Rams to where they need to go. I think Kevin O'Connell was the quarterback whisperer with the Rams. I think Kevin O'Connell really got it going. The reason I like Kirk Cousins is his arm talent. He's going to protect the ball for the most part. I think Sunday or Monday night, he was throwing the ball in places that it shouldn't have been. Justin Jefferson was thinking fade, back shoulder, so he kind of ran a fade and faded to the sideline. Kirk threw a jump ball like it was Randy Moss. But at the end of the day, give me Kirk Cousins over Jared Goff.
All right, now take it another step forward. What is Jared Goff? Do you think Jared Goff is the long-term answer for the Detroit Lions?
Jared Goff reminds me of Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, he's a quarterback that you might not want, but he's the quarterback that can win you some games. I really think he's good. Like, he's a talented guy. I think he's gotten a bad rap because they were like the Rams were actively trying to move him and get Matthew Stafford. They won a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford because I think Matthew Stafford holds on to the ball just a little bit longer than Jared Goff's willing to sometimes. Same with Kirk Cousins. He doesn't hold on to the ball long enough, and that's why Matthew Stafford was so good with the Rams. But no, I think Jared Goff is a good answer for that team. I truly believe he's a guy that's not going to ask for, $50, $60, $70 million a year. And that's what you have to be careful of. Like, if you get a quarterback that's Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, you got to sacrifice elsewhere, like a Kirk Cousins. You got to sacrifice elsewhere when a guy wants $28, $30 million a year. I don't think Jared Goff's ever going to require that amount. So I truly believe he can win games, and you can keep him for 14, 15, 16 million, and then go out and keep an offensive line like Frank Ragnow and go get you an offensive tackle and then go get you another receiver. I mean, I truly believe that he can be the answer for the Lions.
Yo, Pook, man, I'm looking at the screen camera right here to the left. To our left, to your right, what is that on your desk? Is that a teddy bear? Is that a foot?
Yeah, it's a teddy bear. So this is something the Vikings gave us.
So in the shot,
it's a company in Minnesota called Build-A-Bear, and so they did a partnership with the NFL, and I forgot what it was, but it was like the NFL and something else. And honestly, the reason I kept it was because they only gave us one, and I have 2 daughters, and so it was a fight. And so I have not gone to the mall yet, which I think I might go today actually and just build another one and try to get another sweatshirt.
So,
but yeah, it was a gift to from the Vikings to all of us. that like work their TV shows and stuff, and all the players.
So shout out to my big brother. He's a girl dad. But the reason why we asked Ryan is because if you look at it from Ryan or Marty's point of view, it looked like an ashy foot with a flip flop. And so I actually wrote on his script. I said teddy bear. I said it looked like a teddy bear from my angle, but I could see how he saw an ashy foot with like a flip flop.
Ron, I want to ask you about the University of Minnesota on the road at Michigan State this week.
Row the boat.
Hey man, we're all rooting for Minnesota for the Gophers this week. Well, at least the two of us on this desk.
Hey, Michigan
How
State.
do you size that one up?
Well, when you look at the two running backs, Mo Ibrahim Ibrahim and Berger. How you say Berger?
Berger.
Berger. But they're running back, man. These are going to be two good running backs that are going to have a decent game. I mean, Mo has gone off for 200 yards. He's had 100-plus yards in every game. He's the number 2 running back in the country right now as far as yards go. It's going to be a ground and pound type of game. We know, and Braylon, you know this, Michigan State, man, they try to be bullies. You know, they try to, think they're going to come out warm-ups and do something crazy and get in your way. And they want to bully you early. So it's going to be up to PJ to keep his guys mentally into the roll the boat culture, which is it's about us, not about them. Don't worry about the antics. Don't Devin Bush this thing. Like, don't go out to the midfield and try to, tear up some grass with your cleats because they got in your way during warm-ups and all that kind of stuff. So I think PJ is well aware of all that kind of stuff. He's really cerebral as a coach. He's been, like MU sucks, so that they get used to that and they're ready for these Michigan State fans on the road. From other than that though, like Thorne and Tanner Morgan, whoever makes the least amount of mistakes will win this game. Chris Altman-Bell did get hurt last week, so that sucks. But Dalen Wright's pretty good. Michael Brown-Stevens, who's John Legend's nephew, I think he's going to have a resurgence kind of, coming of because now he's the number 1 receiver after Crab goes down. So you got Daniel Jackson, him, and Dalen Wright. And then Brevin Spanford, he hasn't really emerged yet, but he's 6'7". I mean, any tight end is 6'7", and you don't use him more. He is an NFL caliber body. But the Gophers in the past had so many receivers, they didn't really go to him as much. But now with Chris Altman-Bell out, I'm interested to see what they do with him in the red zone against Michigan State.
Don't forget, Tuck's coming.
In the words of John Legend, we are ordinary people. Hey, Ron, here's a fun question for you. Fletch, throw this picture up real quick. This is a picture. I actually watched this game live, Tyrell Dorton. Ron, what the hell were you looking at, and what did you say to this man after you just gave him the business? Pause.
Well, before, I can't find the video of this because, we don't have video like you guys, got when you were a senior. You guys started having more video stuff. But if I'm not mistaken, I caught it, and he was, hanging on to me still. And so I was like, it was a touchdown. I'm like, man, get off me. Like, why are you still on me? It's a touchdown. Like, I'm not dropping this. So I kind of, shrugged him off, and he fell. And then that was just me, looking at him as I threw him off. Because he was holding on to. I mean, our DBs, man, they're stupid.
Man,
they will hold you and tackle you in the end zone. It's clearly a touchdown, and that's what I felt like he was trying to do was pull me down to the ground. So I kind of threw him off and just looked at him. I don't know what I said. Who knows? But I know he said something.
Oh, I know what you said. I know you and I know myself. It's something about DBs, right? Because Nate Clemens did that extra stuff to me too. It's like where you holding on. It's like, come on, bro, I'm in the end zone, bro. Like you trying to hurt me now? Like, go ahead, Ryan.
I never forget it. I see every day in the NFL, guys are scoring and DBs are still running behind them, trying
holding their ankle as the guy is getting up off the ground. Like, let go, bro.
Yeah, that's just what they do.
Hey, Ron, last thing. So you and I are a year apart from each other. I was 97, you were 98. When I was in high school, we always heard about this kid, Ron Johnson at King. We got to go see this kid. We got to go see this kid.
Because you're right down the street at Grosse Pointe South.
Grosse Pointe South. Now, you don't have to admit it, but tell me how many times you guys said, hey, there's this 5'9" running back that ran a 5'1" 40. How many times did you say, you know what, we got to go see this kid over at Grosse Pointe South play?
Man, don't hurt his feelings, Ron.
Unfortunately, in that time, T.J. Duckett was coming up as a young kid at Kalamazoo. So we did the Jamboree there for 3 years. So I remember T.J. Duckett. I'm sorry. Chester Taylor was at Romulus.
Oh, that's right.
We had Chester Taylor was a 97. So it was some other running back. Fred Russell.
There was right.
There were a couple other running backs. Rob Smith was out of King, went to Indiana.
I didn't get a chance to get out to Grosse Pointe and see Ryan.
No, I didn't. Ox was at Cass Tech, so
this guy never came off the field, Ron.
I never came off the field. That's why we were 2-7.
You play running back, linebacker?
Running back, linebacker, baby. You know it.
Oh, my God, man.
Thanks, Ron.
Hey, Ron, thanks so much, my friend. Best of luck to you and everything that you do. We really appreciate your time.
Appreciate you coming back on today when things didn't go right yesterday. We appreciate you, big bro.
That's family.
Hey,
right
you
there.
know, like I'm always for a second chance. You know, like I heard your producer in my ear. He's in there yelling like, "I can't do the show and do this," and I'm trying to figure this out. I've been there. Like I've been there.
Fletch.
I've been there. Like I've been on Fox 9. We've had numerous times our mics go out live on air. You know, at the State Fair where we got PJ Fleck sitting next to us or Kevin O'Connell and our mics don't work. Like I've been there, so I know the producers go through a lot of hell. So I heard them back there, and I'm like, I'm not gonna take it personal. I know he's questioning my internet. I'm not gonna take it personal. It's not my internet. It's something about the switchboard. But you know, vMix, I get it. I've been there. I know it.
I love it.
Ron Johnson, thanks so much, my friend. We hopefully we can chat with you again when the Lions and Vikings play.
The second time we had him on now, so
absolutely.
You know. Yeah, I got to do your show next. I think I did it early in the summer.
Detroit, we got to get you in studio.
I think we should have him weekly.
Yeah, I know. It's so good.
Hey, let me know. Let's find me a sponsor, man. Find me somebody.
That's right.
I know there's got to be something out there.
As soon as we find ours.
Next week, we're full. We got Kyle Schloter, former Vikings quarterback. He's going to do our Monday morning quarterback segment. And then Mike Lehan played for the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah, I know. I played with Mike. Mike was in Cleveland when I got drafted.
Yep. And then Marquise Gray, who played for the Dolphins as well.
Yeah.
The Vikings going to London. What happens and who the Lions do next week? Like, can the Lions go 2-2, or are they going to go
Seahawks next week, man? They'll beat the Seahawks
at home, baby.
We'll be 2-1 after this week.
I know the Seahawks are playing with a different vigor. They're mad at Russ. TikTok Russ is not making them happy.
No doubt. Man. All right, Ron. Thanks so much.
Appreciate
we'll catch
you,
up with you in just a little bit. Got to take a break. When we do, we'll come back and react. But first, a message from Swiss.
React. There is nothing.
I got a big boy here too.
There is nothing better than a game day tailgate. I'm talking a rocking game day tailgate. There's nothing better than that. But with all that fun comes responsibility too. Host liability. And when I say liability, I'm talking about liquor liability. It's an important coverage when hosting high school, college, or pro tailgates. So you know what you do? You let Mark and the Swiss Insurance Group cover you. We've all seen fights at tailgates. We've all saw the major melee that was downtown Detroit after the Philly game. A lot of Lions involved in that. Didn't see too many Philly fans. But you know what you need then? You need coverage. Did you see the Tyreek play against the Baltimore Ravens? Wide open. That was a busted coverage. Well, guess what? Swiss Insurance Group isn't busting coverage. Check out Let Mark and Swiss Insurance Group cover you.
My diamonds, it's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
What can I say about my man, Michael Phillips, and what he does in buying or selling a home? But you know what? I'll help you understand. Whether you're a player or a fan, helping buy, sell, or invest is Mike Phillips' top priority. He's been in this game for 23 years. 23 years Mike Phillips has been in the game, and guess what? He's number one. I know a little something about being number one. He's the number one option in the state. So let him be your number one option. Whether you're buying, whether you're selling, or whether you want to invest, Mike Phillips knows how to do it all. Call 313-403-0011. Game on.
You know, that was really great. I just, first of all, I'm having a big boy. I'm just scarfing down.
Oh, man, enjoy it, man. Go ahead.
Number one. Number two, we swapped out Maz, and we got our guy Stick.
Stick. What's up,
Stick? How you doing?
I got a buffet. I'm happy. I'm Maz.
Stick, it's great to have you.
Definitely good to have you.
It's great to have you in the house as well. One of the things about relationships.
No, you dropped some food. No, I'm joking. I'm messing with you. I'm joking.
Goes to show you about relationships, right? You keep relationships with people And
Ron
Johnson,
I text him, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Ron Johnson sticking it out there so great and really offered some really great perspective on Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions moving forward. Not only Lions talk, not only about golf, but also about what Michigan State is going to try to do when you play in their barn.
Yeah, definitely. Very proud to have Ron Johnson on the show. We had Spice Adams on the show last year. We had Ron on the show last year. Spice went to King High School, played for Penn State. Now he's with the 49ers. Then he's with the Bears. Now he's doing work in Chicago. You see him all over the place. Spice Adams, Ron Johnson, same thing, from Detroit. Went to Minnesota, got drafted by the Ravens. Now he's doing work back in Minnesota. He and his wife, man, just amazing to see, individuals get out of Detroit. And I use that word get out because it's a get out type situation. When I was in high school, a lot of us didn't make it out. So to see my guys get out and make it is a good thing. But going back to what Ron said, Ron provided a lot of things for us. They caught you on camera again, by the way. Ryan, I know, I love it. I'm having a good time.
Freaking big boy. I'm going to eat a freaking big boy, man.
Eat a freaking big boy then.
Screw all of you.
Eat a freaking big boy then.
Screw all of you.
But you love the fact that he talked about what Michigan State's going to try to do. They try to muscle you around, but then once that doesn't go anywhere, now they're stuck. And that's what's going to happen. You look at what Minnesota has, and he alluded to it. Tanner Morgan's a quarterback that's been in Minnesota a very long time. You've been hearing that name for a very long time. He's a quarterback that has gotten to a space where he doesn't turn the ball over. Muhammad Ibrahim got injured last year, so they weren't able to run the ball like they wanted to. They weren't able to run and keep them on balance, to keep them ahead of the sticks. But now if you just look at this year, if you look at Tanner Morgan this year, through 3 games, he's 13 of 19, 174, 14 of 18, 287, 1 touchdown, 11 for 16, 157, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's not turning the ball over at a tremendous clip. He's not missing receivers. His accuracy is there right now. And when you got a guy, Muhammad Ibrahim, who was going to be the best running back in the Big Ten last year, who was the best Big Ten running back 3 years ago before he got injured, now he's back. Now he's in shape. It's going to be tough sledding for Michigan State, man, because they struggle in the secondary, but they struggle at the point of attack right now.
That big boy was so friggin' good, I can't even stand it. So we're going to take another break while I just go have wash it down.
Get you some water, wash it down a little bit.
Might get a hot fudge sundae. We're at the Big Boy on Rochester Road in Rochester.
Right off M59.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got picks. And also, I want to comment on what happened yesterday in Boston.
And today, actually, there's a press conference.
And today in Boston with Ime Udoka. The owner spoke today. We heard Brad Stevens. So many layers to hit on this story. And right smack dab in the middle of football season, you have the biggest sports story happening in Boston right now when it comes to basketball. We'll talk about that next, but first, a message from SMA.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps provide awareness about mental health and substance use. Their new podcast, this is the S word, and S word stands for stigma, because we're trying to destigmatize addiction. We're trying to destigmatize mental health. Let me break it down for you like this. Everybody goes through things in life, whether it's the loss of a job, whether it's the loss of a family member, whether it's the loss of anything, and you have these moments, you have this built-up energy, and it leads to depression or it leads to anxiety, and you don't know how to get the help you need. You don't even know what's going on. Well, guess what? The Sports Marketing Agent, they do. Go to thesportsma.com. They can help you deal and cipher through these things. They can give you the information because they do a great job of having the conversations that people don't want to have. They have, and you got to get that information. Go to The Sports MA. Sean Jordan does an amazing job. Let those guys help you guys out.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Big Frog in Novi. At Novi, we're going to be broadcasting live out there on Monday, but
we'll be out there too, hanging out at Big Frog, and you can get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all day long and for the rest of the month. So make sure if you're in Novi, stop by the Novi Town Center, say hi to them at Big Frog, or go to bigfrog.com/Novi.
Big Frog. Some of the biggest stories happening in sports right now are not on the field,
not on the football
but
field,
off the field. And in regards to the Boston Celtics right now, oh, thank you so much. Just bring that. Let me have this. Oh my God, look at this. Oh, it's here.
She brought an extra plate for us to share.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I'm good on that
one.
one.
We do want to share with that. I can't get after that all by myself.
I got my strawberry shake. I'm
so
good.
Thank God.
I got to golf today, man.
Right, exactly. So Ime Udoka suspended for a year by the Boston Celtics for having what is deemed an inappropriate consensual relationship with a female staffer. I'm going to say something
far left,
away from that aspect of it, and pick apart Brad Stevens' criticism today at the press conference.
I'm going to pick apart everybody, so you go
everything.
for it.
Let me say this about Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens was coming out to see. Do we have the quote? If I could get that up. I don't have that in front of me. Here's the quote from Brad Stevens. We have a lot of talented women in our organization, and I thought yesterday was really hard on them. Nobody can control Twitter speculation and rampant bullcrap. I'm in a public place right now, so I don't want to say what he said. But I do think we have a responsibility to make sure we are there to support them. What a bunch of crap.
You did it!
Without you,
we don't know.
Exposing this, we don't know a thing. What Ime Udoka did or did not do with an adult woman in a consensual relationship, that is, I don't even really know what to say about it because it's so silly, it's so dumb, insert any adjective you want to say there. But when you don't come out and suspend anybody else in the organization but the coach, you do then look at the roster. You look at the female staff members and you say, is it her? Is it her? Is it her? And you only got 3 to choose from. There's only a couple.
And really only 2 would make the resume.
Right. So really now, everybody's guilty. Everybody's guilty. And if this is a policy by the organization, why isn't it a policy on the other end too? Why wasn't anybody else suspended? So this has been totally botched by the organization. There better be something that we don't know here. That's the only. There's just got to be something else, because based on the information that we know, you leave people to speculate. And when you leave people to speculate, you speculate just about anything. And there's a lot of speculation going on, and it would behoove this organization, which, by the way, doesn't have the greatest history as an organization, to maybe come out and share some facts.
I would start with this. Ime, I believe it's pronounced Ime Udoka, what he did is put himself in a situation that he deserves to be in, okay? He violated company rule, start there. You knew it was a guideline. You knew it was a rule. You violated. We can get into all that later. Violated the rule. You put yourself in this position. You should get what coming to you as it relates to fairness. Now that I've gotten that particular piece out of the way, it's very interesting. And Ryan, you touched on it, and I appreciate that. It's very interesting that they said it was consensual. Right then and there, it's no longer our business. Right then and there, it's no longer our business. Consensual. It's no longer our business. Then you say there were 2 people involved, because damn sure it wasn't just Ime Udoka. I mean, he couldn't just mess with himself and this be consensual to who? Well, where's that other person
he
at?
could.
Well, true. I mean, well, if you were with yourself in public places, you can get arrested for that too. But where's the other person at?
Right.
Where's the other person get suspended? I remember at the podium they asked Wick Grossbeck, was the other person suspended? And he responded, no. Where's the other person? Who is this mystery character? See, I'll tell you who this mystery character is. It's no one on the staff. And by the way, Brad Stevens, like Ryan said, Yeah, you put yourself in that situation too. You opened up Pandora's box, not willing to fully tell Pandora's story, and now you got us, because this is what humans do. We're deciphering through the list on Google. Well, Celtic staff, who's on their staff? Like I saw Stick do it. I did the same thing, Stick. I was like, who's on their staff? Well, it's not this person. Damn sure it's not this person. Has to be this. Has to be this person.
So unfair,
when
right?
it's not. It's so unfair, and it's none of them. It's none of them. What I said yesterday, Ryan, and I doubled down on it today. You know who it was? It was one of their. It was, and when I say their, the Boston basketball group owns the Boston Celtics. There are 6 partners in that group. It's one of their wives, or it's one of their daughters of age, mind you. It's got to be one of them or somebody on the higher up side of basketball operation. Because if it was just somebody in the franchise and you want to follow protocol, you would just have fired Ime Udoka. You would just got it out the way. You know what? We can't have this. We're just going to fire you. That way, he could come out and say, what happened? Look, I'm sorry for, engaging in adultery, et cetera, et cetera. I know better. I'm sorry. He can start his journey back to another coaching job, and you can start your journey to move on to your new coach. You probably would took the coach that you have now, Joe. Get to that as well. But it's not that. See, that group, they're all a certain type of individual. And that certain type of individual cares about 2 things, family and money, and not necessarily in that order. The fact that he's still on staff. And when they asked Whit Grossbeck, when we bring him back next year, is he still going to have a coaching job? Will he be the head coach next year? And you know what he said? He said, we don't know. In 365 days, we'll have to reevaluate.
He may end up owning the Celtics, though, because if this is a suspension and only him for a year, and this turns out to be much to do about nothing, because I love these stories, right? When they come out, I'm all in. I like the intrigue of them, and I like how people are stupid. Like, I'm fascinated by human stupidity. Whenever you see, an executive's getting suspended for something with a girl, he said something wrong, and the word you said, consent. The minute I read that word, I don't give a damn anymore. It was 2 consenting adults. Let them be adults.
I've seen this situation before. I'm telling you what I know. It is definitely somebody's daughter or it's somebody's wife that's a higher up, and they are trying to punish him. Because if that were just the case, they violated, they will fire him, they will move on. But they are punishing this man. This man doesn't even know if he's going to be the head coach next year, suspended without pay this year. He can't move on. He can't go get another job. They're dangling his job in life in front of him. When you punish people like this is the type of sadistic stuff that you see in movies when somebody hurts somebody's child and then they go and kidnap him. I saw a movie like that with, I want to say, Hugh Jackman. It was with Hugh Jackman and Terrence Howard. It's funny in that regard, but it's situation. Punishment is for when somebody hurts you deep, and when you get hurt deep, that means it's close. And who's close? Family members. I'm telling you, it's somebody's wife, and it's somebody's daughter on a higher up level. This goes way beyond, and I'm glad that even though Ime is being quiet right now, because there's going to be something that comes from this on his side.
I hope you are wrong about that. And the reason why I hope you're wrong about that is because you just went from punishing one individual
to everybody,
to punishing every female member of your organization. Because now we are all examining their lives, who they are, who their relationships are with. And if what you are saying is actually comes to fruition, and I disagree with it still, but if that is true,
Ryan,
you are punishing every female, and I would sue.
Ryan,
that's what I'm saying.
No, that's what Stick was saying. And Stick is right.
Yeah. If it's one-way suspension and it's a consensual thing, and it's like what you're saying on an executive level,
I'm telling you, it's on an executive level. Because think about it from this standpoint. If it was just the young lady on the staff who everybody initially thought it was, the black lady with the green Celtics on, she was a cute one, so you assume. And I'd
sue if I was her.
She definitely should sue because she had to come. So if you know what I'm saying, if it's just her, they're not going to make it a public deal. I've seen coaches date within the franchise and couple different spots I was at, and I've heard about it from other guys that play in the sports and different sports. It wouldn't have been this big of a deal. They would have done something under the covers, under the no pun intended. They would have done something under wraps, very quietly, but not expose their business. The fact that they exposed themselves to this level, then no one else was suspended. I'm telling you, this is on somebody else. Like, somebody's feelings are hurt. Somebody's daughter or somebody's wife of a higher up level got messed with.
And if that's the case,
consensually.
If that's the case, then this female staffer, whose picture is all over the internet now, has been violated by her employer.
What did Draymond Green say about Boston during the playoffs? They're racist. What did LeBron back him up on saying on the shot? They're racist. I guarantee you the reason why it's gone through this measure, because that woman damn sure wasn't black. She damn sure was white, and she's damn sure somebody's daughter, or she's somebody's wife of a higher up. Exactly. You already know. Life. 100%.
Another coaching situation I do want to get to, but we'll get to our picks next, as we do each and every week in this time slot. We'll get to our NFL picks. Where are we? Braylon, Stick. Yeah. We'll get your picks as well. We'll do it next. Ermanni and Edwards. But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
Folding Warehouse. It's that time of year. Fall's in the air. You throw on a hoodie, and you go throw some footballs at some bowling pins down in Hamtramck. And not only that, they got a full bar for you. We always talk about that $2 mystery beer machine because, I mean, it's a $2 beer. It's not a mystery. It's going to be awesome. Go to the Folding Warehouse. You can rent a lane, $120 for you and all your friends. Plus, you can bring your own food in there, too. Spencer, Fletcher, you love the $2 mystery beers? It depends. No, it doesn't. They're all good, baby, at the Folding Warehouse.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The Bacon Blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Planet Fitness is the official sponsor of the studio. That is WoodwardSports.com. Love having that studio. I love looking at that purple and black. But you know what else I like to do? I like working out for $10 a month. I'm talking, $10. Hey, man, Ryan Ermanni, only $10. Work out for $10 a month. But not only that, it's the home of the judgment-free zone. Do you know what that means over there, Flannel Sound? That means that you can work out without anybody judging you. You can put your headphones on. You can work out at your pace, take your time. It can take you 40 minutes to get through a workout. Maybe it take you 2 hours. But it's your pace, and nobody's judging you. Go on down to Planet Fitness right now. Get in shape, $10 a month, because at Planet Fitness, your fitness is essential.
All right, here's what we're going to do. It's our pick segment now. Braylon, are you picking winners or are you picking against the spread?
All right, I'm picking against the spread. I stay like the crew, so we won't have to make any different rules for me. Pick against the spread.
All right, here's the current standings. I lead. Both Maz and Braylon are 7-7. I am 9-5. Here we go. Does he have 8 games up there? No, 7 games. We do 7 games a week. All right, first up, Maz did give me his picks.
Okay.
We'll start with the Lions and Vikes. Maz takes, the Lions plus the 6. I, too, will take the Lions plus the 6. Bray?
I will take the Vikings because both of you guys took the Lions, and I think the Vikings are due for a breakout game. So I'm going to take the Vikings. I think the Lions are due for a back-down-to-earth game.
All right. Game number – Stick, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, I'll go Lions money line.
Ooh.
Money line, baby.
Look at that.
Trying to get paid.
All right. The Chiefs on the road at the Colts. Chiefs a 5.5-point favorite in this one. right?
Oh, man, Chiefs by 700. The Colts stink, man.
Chiefs.
Like, Matt Ryan, and I've always been a fan in terms of just the way he's conducted himself, but he looks old. Like, the team looks bad. The defense is not even there anymore, and Frank Reich, fire that guy.
I, too, will take the Chiefs. I think that is a blowout, actually. Maz takes the Colts. He thinks the spread is a little bit too fishy for that one.
If they give the ball to Jonathan Taylor 45 times, they may hang in that game. But outside of that, Kansas City by 40.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Buffalo on the road at Miami. Buffalo, also a 5.5-point road favorite. Maz takes the Dolphins in this one. Braylon?
You know who I'm taking. The Dolphins. Give me the
Really?
Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins. I told you that there were 3 games for the Buffalo Bills that they would need to go undefeated or win over 15.5. One of those games was the Dolphins. It's here. Dolphins come off a miraculous fourth-quarter comeback. I think it actually started that engine. I'm going with the Dolphins.
I am going with the Buffalo Bills. Somebody's going to need to show me that they can hang within a touchdown or even 2 touchdowns of this football team. They just blow people out. Give me the Buffalo Bills. Stick?
I'm with you, Ryan Ermanni. Until they show me they're not who we think they are who we think they are.
Absolutely. Next one, Ravens on the road at the Pats. Another road favorite, Baltimore, giving 3 at New England. I will take the Ravens. Maz takes the Ravens. Braylon?
I will take the Ravens as well.
Sweep. That's the first one all 3 of us have agreed on. Do we have 4 in a row?
You do have 4.
There we go.
That means the Pats are going to
That means the Patriots are going to win.
Absolutely. That means the Patriots are going to win that game when all 4 of us take the Ravens. The Rams, another road favorite. You sensing a theme here? I know there's somebody out there in Vegas just taking all these home dogs, by the way.
This is true.
Rams on the road at Arizona, L.A., a 3.5-point favorite against Arizona. Maz takes the Rams. Ray? I'll give you one. I'm taking the Cards.
I am too.
I'm taking the Cards in this one. I do
take the
not
Cards?
believe. Yeah.
Taking the Cards.
Take the Cards. There's your first inclination.
I'm taking the Rams.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm taking the Rams.
I got to get my sheet here. Stick?
Ermanni, I'm with the Cards.
Cards.
Yep.
Got it.
Shout out to my mom in Arizona.
There
If I
you
could take
go.
the Cards,
Shout out to
she
Mom.
can call me right now.
All right, Green Bay on the road at Tampa Bay. No Mike Evans for the Bucks, but yet Tampa Bay a 1-point favorite in this one. Maz takes Green Bay.
This is tough. Aaron Rodgers is, Tom Brady is 3-1 all time against Aaron Rodgers, but who the hell is he throwing the ball to? Cole Beasley, Scotty
Julio
Miller?
Jones.
Julio look good.
He's made some plays.
Look better.
I'm going Tom. Tom Brady's my fantasy quarterback, so
Right.
Tom Brady.
No doubt about it. Okay, so
I just realized Tampa Bay and Tom Brady are the same in this.
I'm going Tampa Bay as well. Stick?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa
Don't bet
Bay.
against Tom Brady.
There you go. Final game for you here is the 49ers at the Broncos. Broncos a home dog, getting a 1.5. San Francisco the favorite in this one. Russell Wilson booed in Denver at Mile High last week. What happens this week? Braylon?
Well, that's my unfortunately my Super Bowl winner. So I'm sticking with the Denver Broncos, man. Like, I'm waiting to see what happens with Russ. I saw that offense get active in the second and third quarters of the first game of the season against the Seahawks. So I know that they can make plays. Give me Denver, man.
I'm going Denver just because I'm going to be rooting for Denver anytime there's an AFC versus NFC. I root for the AFC team, knowing that if the Lions are competing in a playoff wild card race down the stretch, every loss by an NFC team helps. So I will go with the Denver Broncos. What say you, Stick?
Jimmy Garoppolo's back, baby. I am not betting against the San Francisco 49ers. He's bringing his adult film star friends with him, and he's ready to party.
Go.
These do not count in our official standings, but let's go to the college game locally here. Michigan, a 17-point favorite against Maryland.
I'm taking Maryland. I'm taking Maryland. I think Michigan is a good team. I think Michigan will handily beat them. I don't think it will be close. But Tua Tagovailoa is a walking 300-yard game. They can run the ball as well. Humphrey is their running back, and he's 2 games in a row. He's over 100 yards, 150, I want to say, in the last game. And that was against SMU, who last year was a really good ball club. So they'll beat them handily, but I don't know if by 17.
I think it's going to be like a 35-14 game at the half. Michigan will have the lead at that one. So I think they go back and forth in the second half. I'll take Michigan. I think Michigan by about 28.
Okay, yeah, I got Michigan by 15.
There you go.
Just like the Bills, till they show me they're not. They
exactly.
are who they are, and they're gonna smoke them.
Maz has no pick in the game. Michigan State at home, a dog. Minnesota row the boat, a 3-point favorite against the Spartans at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. Give me the Gophers in this one.
I take the Minnesota Golden Gophers as well, man. We just had Ron Johnson on the show. Ron Johnson is a former Golden Gopher legend. Just made the M Club Hall this year. You know what? In honor of him, I'm taking the Gophers.
Yeah, I hate to say it to all my Michigan State friends, but I thought last year was kind of an anomaly, and I got no dog in this fight, so don't accuse me of any allegiances. I just see what my eyes see, and I got the Gophers in this game, man.
All right, we are going to take a break. Those are our picks for this one. For this week, I should say. We'll see how we do on Monday. We will take a break. Come right back when we do much more from Big Boy on Rochester Road in Rochester. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. It is no secret that new cars are hard to come by. They are available at Les Stanford. Got to make a plan, though.
Got to make a plan.
Allocation coming in for lease or purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford also has over 300 pre-owned cars on their lot right now.
Pre-owned
all
cars.
makes, all models, all years. Some with less than 500 miles on them, so they're like new. Come on down today, practically giving them away. Les Stanford Chevrolet and Cadillac. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
At work and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
At Alta,
Uptime matters.
Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Have a bog project coming up? Well, guess what? Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. Once again, that is 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
Alta. Wrapping it up here at Big Boy.
Beautiful week, by the way.
Oh, man, what a great week.
You're really good at what you do, man.
Thank you, dude.
You're really good at
so
what
are
you do.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Just having a lot of fun. You know, Braylon and I, a little inside radio, we have not spoken much this week.
We haven't.
We usually do a lot more talking than we do.
I think when we kind of talked about it is, you know, we do so much prep is where, you know, he gets off Fox, he comes into it, and we sit there with Maz and Fletch and Sam and JB, and we just kind of, all right, well, we'll say this, and this looks like that. Well, what are you thinking? Well, I'm thinking this, and sometimes you just overthink things, and I prepared too many notes, and I'm trying to run down all the numbers that I know and impress and excite. We've gotten to the point now where it's like, look, this is the script. I'll see you when you get there, and we'll just talk good.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of working out for us. I did not want to let this day go by without mentioning the report of Herm Edwards in in Arizona State. So the report was this, and I don't know if we have a graphic made or not for this, but let me just put it up. Arizona State staffers were reportedly leaking information to help opponents and get Herm Edwards fired. I don't even know where to go with this, Braylon Edwards.
Yeah.
I've just never heard of anything like this in my life. I did not think that Herm Edwards was going to work out at Arizona State to begin with, because he was so great on ESPN. I thought it was a money grab going, which I am totally fine with. There's absolutely, it didn't work out at Arizona State, but this is unacceptable and doesn't help. I mean, that's just horrific.
So what it was is it wasn't a money grab. His friend, longtime friend, Ray Anderson, former football player, Ray Anderson is the athletic director at Arizona State. When the president reached out to Ray Anderson, hey, say, who can we bring in to be the head coach at Arizona State? Kind of get us going in the right direction. Give us a structure, a base to sit on. And then from there, after, a couple years, maybe we can go find our young wizard, our young Lincoln Riley, or one of those type coaches. So Herm Edwards came out of retirement because his friend Ray Anderson asked him to, much like last year with Anthony Lynn coming out of retirement for Dan Campbell, a friend of his. So now he comes out of retirement, and then what do? Ray Anderson is right next to the president of Arizona State on the field after they lose to Eastern Michigan in the end zone, still on national TV, and they whisper into his ear. Now, obviously, they probably whispered into his ear, and Ray had to be there because the president said, you stand by me. Probably whispered into his ear, hey, look, we want to talk to you after the game, and so after you shower, you talk to the kids, come upstairs. It was about being fired, but it looks like you fired him on TV, and to my knowledge, you fired him on TV. And now, a couple days later, it's announced and it's alleged that staffers were leaking information to further make Herman Edwards, who only came there to get you guys going in the right direction anyway, to get him fired. Ryan, this is the thing I think about, and I hate to make it about that, but it just seems that way. You get Ime Udoka, who that situation looks very fuzzy with the Celtics organization and what's going on right there. That has implications of having race involved. This situation, black coach, you got Brian Flores last year with the Miami Dolphins and what he alleged. Hugh Jackson coming out alleging the same thing. You got Byron Scott, and I know I went back on you, but you got Byron Scott who goes to an NBA Finals and then goes to the Western Conference Finals with the Hornets, and Chris Paul doesn't get offered another coaching job. Dwayne Casey wins Coach of the Year and gets fired and gets sent to the Detroit Pistons. You get Avery Johnson wins Coach of the Year with San Antonio Spurs. He gets fired. It's always seeming that it's so hard to be a black coach in America, black coach in this business. Yeah, there are some that have had success. It takes a 1,000 years to think of a couple outside of Mike Tomlin. He's a guy that always comes to mind. He inherited a good situation as soon as Bill Cowher retired. That team and that organization will always have a shot to make the playoffs. But with that being said, you know what this does, Ryan Ermanni? If I'm a young, up-and-coming black male that's thinking about getting into the coaching game, let's say I'm 20, let's say I'm 21, let's say I'm 22, and I'm thinking about it now as I watch the plight and the struggle of black coaches in this league. We've been talking about Eric Bieniemy getting a job, Leslie Frazier getting a job. Why can't they get jobs? If you look at it from that lens, it deters you as an African-American, as a black man in America that's 2021. If I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't want to be no coach. I was like, you know what? I thought about it. I'm cool. Looks too difficult. Looks too hard. Let me go do something else. Let me go work with hedge funds, or let me go be a scout or do whatever else. But being a head coach as a young man, as I see it, I mean, you don't have to be black to see that, Ryan.
Absolutely. You get example after example there. It just makes it very difficult. And if look, there's not many
Jim Caldwell was a winning coach here. Fired.
I disagree with that one. I disagree, because 5-24 against teams with a 500 record.
He did more
1-7.
He did more than any other coach before or after.
I agree. Lions good, yes, but 1-7 the year he got fired against. I'll fight you. Now I'm the only one. I might do the Jim Caldwell.
But you can't fight stats.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. 1-7 against teams.
Did they make the playoffs while he was there?
Yeah, but never won a playoff game.
50% of the time he was there, they made the playoffs.
I understand. I'm saying you're comparing it to the. Well, we can have that conversation on Monday. Lions good and NFL
with that
good.
being said, when you
two
say
different
50,
things.
when I say 50% of the time, you also got to look at the Lions have only won 2 playoff games in the last 60 years. So you can't look at him and say, well, he never won a playoff game. Guess what? Neither is any other coach.
I don't disagree with you on that. I don't disagree with you
It's
on
just
that.
tough going back there,
Yeah. No doubt about it. Does Aaron Judge get the home run tonight?
Yes.
I'm going to go yes, too. Fletch, you're a big baseball guy. You're shaking your head yes. Want to let everybody know that the staff at Big Boy and everybody here at Big Boy is absolutely second to none. They're big supporters of Woodward Sports Network, and we cannot thank them for their partnership enough. We have gone to several of the different Big Boy locations around Metro Detroit. We will continue to do so. We just love this place. The people here are phenomenal. The food is just tremendous. So I got a Big Mac, a Slim Jim, a salad bar, and a hot fudge sundae today. Thank you, Big Boy. Braylon, you want to get us out of here?
I do. My apologies. Look, it's been a great week for WoodwardSports.com. We're integrating some new systems, integrating new technology, and, man, it is going to be amazing once it's all had and kept. So keep supporting us. Keep sticking around. Keep being here. You see where we are right now? We're at Big Boy's own location, man. This is what we do for our sponsors. We support them like they support us, and we support our fans. You guys have been there since Ryan and I first started almost a year and a half ago. Man, time is flying. Keep supporting us, and we will keep getting better and better and better. To the people that help behind the camera, my man Flannel Sam, Fletch in the building, and you saw my guy Stick join in the last half of the mass hour, I guess you could say. Ryan, always a pleasure, brother.
Love you, buddy.
Ermanni and Edwards with Mass. We're out of here.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.